It has recently come to my attention that we are halfway through 2024 and I'm gonna spill my tea. So that is terrifying and also exciting because a lot of really great books that are coming out from like now to the end of November. So that's what I'm going to be chatting about in this video. I hope that you hear about some books that are new to you. And I'm going to be talking about these books starting from the closest release date, working my way through towards November. So you can hop around using the timestamps and let's just dive straight into them. I'm not sure of the exact day that I'm going to be posting this video. So this book is either just about to release or it already has just released. That is A Dark and Endless Sea by Blaine Daigle. This is a horror mystery fiction. It says Whit Rogers has been dreaming horrible dreams. These dreams stretch the very fabric of the real and the unreal as he is pulled by a voice across the country to a small crab fishing ship to depart into the Bering Sea. So it sounds like the main character might be a little bit unreliable. We might have a bit of a locked room, like claustrophobic experience because we're on this ship. And I just love a northern oceanic sea setting. So I'm really excited about this one. I think the cover is beautiful too. You don't usually see that like teal shade as a font particularly. I'm just really excited about this. So I'm definitely gonna be picking this one up. That comes out on June 7th. The second book that is on my radar, oh my god, oh yeah, okay, is The Blackbird Oracle. This is by Deborah Harkness. It is a continuation of the All Souls trilogy. So this is taking place from in Diana's perspective, Diana and Matthew, which I'm gonna say I'm like a little bit disappointed by because I just really want a novel about Gallaglass. Like I love all of the characters, but I really want a novel about Gallaglass. Please, Deborah, can we have it? But Blackbird Oracle is following Diana and Matthew when they have 7-year-old twins, and the congregation has demanded that they bring them forward and test their magic. It seems that this book is going to be really diving into Diana's past and her history and the history of some of the witches in her family because a relative comes forward like out of the woodwork that is going to be tutoring her children, and I'm just very excited to get back into the All Souls world. That book is coming out on July 16th. And July 16th is actually a very big month because we have another book coming out that I only just heard about. I'm not sure if this is the final cover. I will put the final cover up. It's very beautiful if the one I'm looking at is the final cover. So I'll put that up too if it's not. But that's called The Atropine Tree. I've never read anything from this author before. Sarah Reed, apparently she got the Bram Stoker Award. This is a gothic at Aldine Manor. It is an ancient home of low-beamed ceilings, crumbling walls, poisoned gardens, and deadly secrets. When Ulrich Aldane returns to his family's house, he expects to simply inherit his father's land and title. Instead, he discovers that he is also heir to the property's disturbing history, one full of witchcraft and a ghostly mystery that could condemn him to a fate worse than death. That just sounds exactly up my alley. I love all of it. And I'm very curious. Like, I love a book with a poison garden for some reason. And I don't think that I've read one since Veronica Speedwell books. There was a really good poison garden in that. I don't know if you can hear my cat, but he's snoring like really loud right now. He's 18 and it's really like living with a 90-year-old man. I'm gonna just let him rest. We're gonna just let him sleep because he seems really comfortable. Okay, so sorry, this is so distracting. It's really loud. The Atropine Tree sounds like a great book, and that's coming out on the 16th of July. Also on the 16th of July is Smother Moss, which is a really good title, killer title, and the cover is so cool looking. Like all of the ferns and the animals has me very curious. It feels very like, again, kind of gothic and earthy, like botanical. This is tagged as a horror gothic historical fiction. So this is set in 1980s Appalachia, and we're following someone named Sheila who is caring for her great aunt and the home and garden and the rabbits. And she forages mushrooms from the forest. You know, I'm kind of getting like a very little bit of a, we have always lived in this castle. Sheila is bullied quite a bit. And she has a younger sister who's like obsessed with weird and gross things. It says when a female pair of hikers are brutally murdered on the nearby trail, they find themselves drawn to the hunt for the killer. Sounds really interesting. Another July release is So Witches We Became. This is the only YA I think that I have on this list. It is a YA horror that is also queer, and this cover is insane. It is stunning. The little line says, "If boys will be boys, girls will fight back." It says that it reads like a YA feminist spin on Stephen King's The Mist, which I have not read. So Witches We Became is a diverse queer horror about female friendship, emotional aftermath of surviving assault, and how to find power in the shadows of your past. That comes out on July 23rd, and it sounds very intriguing. I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly on this list for that cover. That is a beautiful piece of work. I want to see who that artist is. I think I totally lied. So I think the next book is also YA, and it's coming out on July 30th, and it's by Sarah Reese Brennan, and it's called Long Live Evil. I keep seeing this come up. I feel like a lot of authors that I love are reading it and speak really highly of it. So, oh yeah, it has a quote from Leigh Bardugo right there on the cover. Audacious and supremely satisfying. Thanks, Leigh. The description says, when her whole life has collapsed, Ray still had books. Oh, this is cool, actually. Dying, she seizes a second chance at living, a magical bargain that lets her enter the world of her favorite fantasy series. Inkheart? I'm getting an Inkheart vibe from this. She wakes in a castle on the edge of a hellish chasm in a kingdom on the brink of war, home to many dangerous monsters, plural. Scheming courtiers and her favorite fictional character, the once and forever emperor. He's impossibly alluring as only fiction can be, and in this fantasy world, she discovers she's not the heroine, but the villainess in the emperor's tale. This sounds so much fun. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I feel like I'm gonna be reliving my Inkheart obsession. The next one I've talked about, I feel like quite a bit. I don't know if I actually have. That's Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Ava Reid is one of my all-time favorite authors. This book is obviously from the perspective and telling the story of Lady Macbeth. The covers are incredible. Because I'm in Australia, I think I'm gonna end up with the English cover, the British cover. But I love the American cover as well. It's like this pink gothic script over like a more classic looking picture. It's like Saltburn, but make it pretty. It says, the lady knows the stories, how her eyes induce madness in men. She knows she will be wed to the Scottish brute, who does not leave his warrior's ways behind him when he comes to the marriage bed. Lady Macbeth in this retelling has witchcraft, but she doesn't know that her husband also has occult magic of his own. I've heard there's also a dragon in this. I think that was said in some of her like aesthetic videos. I think she left a comment like, yes, there will be dragons. This is going to be a book that I read on the release day for sure. Something that has come on my radar recently is The Mistress of Lies by K.M. Enright. This author, I believe, is a Filipino-American writer, and I think this is a debut. This comes out on August 13th. We follow a blood worker named Shan Leclerc, who has spent her entire life perfecting her magic, building a network of spies, and gathering every scrap of power that she can. She commits patricide just like every good heroine, to protect her brother and gain power over her family. And then there's another character named Samuel Hutchinson, who is a bastard with a terrible gift. He's drawn into the world of magic and intrigue that he has been trying to avoid, and is pulled deeply into the ravenous, bloodthirsty court of the Vampire King. There's a lot going on in here. So they find themselves drawn ever closer to each other. So I'm really curious about it. I don't know what it will be like. I just know I like the cover. I like vampires, and blood magic sounds edgy in a way that appeals to me. And then we are getting another book from Rachel Harisson this year, So Thirsty. September 10th. I will probably be reading this also on the release day. It says a woman must learn to take life by the throat after a night out leads to irrevocable changes in this juicy, thrilling novel. I really enjoyed such sharp teeth and cackle. I just find her writing very fun and like funny and kind of creepy. Like I just think she balances this really well. I guess I would call her like cozy horror. Also recently the author did a reading of the first chapter and like a little bit of the second chapter on Instagram, and I just thought that it sounded really good too. So that is So Thirsty. And then same day, September 10th, another big day for fantasy and kind of gothic horror. We get Lucy Undying from Kirsten White. This is obviously a gothic fantasy where a vampire escapes the thrall of Dracula and embarks on her own search for self-discovery and true love. Wait, is this YA as well? It says it's adult. Incredible cover. Again, I love the wolves and the eyes in her hair. Okay, so we're following the character Lucy Westenra, who was one of Dracula's first victims. And I'm getting a bit of a queer vibe from some of this as well. So Lucy Undying, September 10th. On September 24th, we are getting a novella from M.L. Rio. That's the same author who wrote If We Were Villains, which I'm kind of ashamed to say I haven't finished reading yet. This is following a ragtag group of night shift workers who meet in the local cemetery to unearth the secrets lurking in an open grave. I was sold by the first bit of the description that says, every night in the college's ancient cemetery, 5 people cross paths as they work the late night shift. A bartender, rideshare driver, hotel receptionist, and the steward of a derelict church that looms over them, and the editor-in-chief of the college paper. Academia, college, and graveyards, say no more. This is only 144 pages, releases September 24th. The next book I'm going to chat about is, I believe, October 1st. This looks like it is a collection of short stories called Northern Lights. It was edited by Michael Kelly. The description says, something stirs in the boundless dark of the Canadian North. Listen, can you hear it? It's an anthology of strange stories featuring dark dreams and feverish imaginations of Canada's finest speculative authors. Steel yourself for a journey through these northern lights. I am Canadian and I love stories about Canada and the North and the dark, scary, creepy, cold loneliness of it. And from Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Camila Grudova, you know what, I'm not gonna read all of these out because there's quite a bunch of them, but Sylvia Moreno Garcia is one of them and I do really like her books. So I think that will be quite a fun book. It's 298 pages, not too long. Another book that takes place in the Appalachian Mountains. That is called The Bog Wife. Also a 10 out of 10 cover. I love bogs. In this atmospheric Appalachian Gothic, the Haddesley siblings of West Virginia must unearth a long-buried secret to carve out a future when the supernatural bargain entwining their fate with their ancestral land is suddenly ruptured. So this family has tended a cranberry bog. The staunch seasons of their lives are governed by a strict covenant that is renewed each generation with the ritual sacrifice of their patriarch, and in return the bog produces a bog wife. Brought to life from vegetation, this woman is meant to carry on the family line. But when the bog fails or refuses to honor the bargain, the family, a discordant group of siblings, and a still grieving mother who mysteriously disappeared, face an unknown future. This just sounds really cool. Like, I love the concept about it, everything about it. I love the idea of a cranberry bog. That alone is just really interesting to me. I don't know, I just think this sounds amazing. I think this is also a debut. No, it is not. So that is The Bog Wife, 1st October. I really don't know what else to say about it, except it sounds incredible and really, really interesting. And the final book that I want to chat about today is coming out on the 24th of October. This is the 3rd installment in the Bloodsworn saga, The Fury of the Gods. I read the very first book, I want to say The Hunger of the Gods, which is a Viking-inspired epic fantasy series. So John Gwynne draws pretty heavily on like real Viking magic and history. I think he's like a reenactor or something like that. So we have these 3 really interesting characters. One is a mother, one is like a princess-y type of character, and one is kind of like a magical bro, like the Northman, like, you know, the Northman, the movie. So I obviously can't say a whole lot about this series because this is going to be the 3rd book. Really anticipating the 3rd installment, and I think that's all that I've got for you guys today. If I have missed any new releases that you are excited or interested in, or you think that I might enjoy, do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope that you heard about a book that sounds interesting to you. There are so many good books coming out in the next few months that I'm gonna be pretty busy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in another video. Bye!